No.
iCarly lifestyle.
We should have. Can we get
So don't remember.
Miranda Cosgrove on the? Oh.
Hello, everyone. I will follow up on you with that, Miranda Cosgrove. We'll see if we can get her on. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the VRAINS podcast, episode 10. A little applause there. 10 episodes already. Yeah, episode 10. Failed simulation, which obviously does refer to episode 96. It is a packed and loaded agenda for us today. This is the first time that episode summaries have dropped on a day of the podcast. I've already done a video on my channel going over the summaries. We are not going to try to go over the summaries here because we do want, you haven't even seen the summaries.
I haven't read them yet.
We do want to remain kind of spoiler free on the podcast. Of course, I will say a little bit of a warning to those of you that really do not want spoilers at all. I would be careful in regards to the chat because there might be people talking about the spoilers, which is understandable since they did just drop today. But I do have a video on my channel where I go over the spoilers, and I will have a video I know with Pete tomorrow, maybe Nick T as well, probably just Pete and I, where we will discuss in depth the, you canceled on me, bro. The 98, 99, 100, and 101 spoilers. She's my voice.
Okay?
Yeah, my voice just gave out. I am joined by the usual crew. We have Cal, we have Nick T, we have Jordan. Thank you all once again for coming on.
My pleasure.
And Cal and Jordan, welcome back. Last week it was just me and Nick T, which hopefully that kind of sufficed. Yeah, the day oneers.
Whoa, what does that make me? Day two?
Well, actually, yeah, they're all day
kind
oneers.
of day two. I mean, I've known Dylan since like.
That's if you want to go there.
True.
You know, you're pulling out the old card right there. Yeah, so we have, again, we're going to go over 96. We're going to go over our formal predictions on who we think, because we haven't picked yet. The standings right now, Cal is 3-1. Nick T, Pete, and I are 2-2. Pete has texted in his prediction to Jordan, and we will go over our formal predictions on who is going to win Revolver versus Lightning. Hopefully you guys will leave your thoughts on that in the comments as well. And we are going to go over Ending 5 as well. So Ending 5 should be really good. We have a lot to discuss in regards to that. I do want to hear from you, your perspective on that, and from everyone in the comments. So thank you all for joining and coming on. But yeah, we want to get into episode 96.
Let's do it.
We have a lot of donations.
Seriously?
Yes,
Let's let
we
Jordan
have
start
like
this
5
one off.
donations.
Oh my God, thank you guys so much. Before you read that, sorry to interrupt. Thank you guys so much. I do want to read the super chat donators from last week. Huge thank you to Brian Ford, Nicholas Horton, Chris Swan, Jake Goes Online, King of Games 189, Odd Eyes Vaughn, Rex Kentrix, Michael Winley, Cloud Nation 101, Joseph Tedusco, Jarek Bruel, Jordan, thank you Jordan, Underdog Chris, and Dark Scythe, and to Patreon Goosey Q for raising his pledge. So thank you guys so much. It really is in huge part to you guys, to the donators, every podcast pretty much, that I'm able to continue to make content like this. And I do have, I do have a lot of, I have 7 dual power boxes here. I'm giving away 2 of them to people, to random people that just enter the giveaway. I'm giving away 1, the packs in 1 to 6 different patrons, and I will be opening 4 in a live stream tomorrow on Sunday. So, yeah, that'll be fun. So definitely be tuned tomorrow night for me doing another live stream where I open all these boxes. But really, thank you guys so much. It really does mean the world. So sorry for interrupting there.
That's okay.
All right, cool.
The first one is from Daddy.
Okay.
Synchro summon Odin, father of the Acer.
Right, so you guys, yeah. That, so you know how the Egyptian gods were in the original Yu-Gi-Oh?
Of course.
Well, yeah, the Nordic gods in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
Oh,
they weren't
it's like
as,
Odin and
Odin, Loki, and Thor were they were synchro monsters.
Gotcha.
Oh, pretty powerful synchro monsters, at least for the anime. But thank you so much, Daddy. I appreciate it.
Brian Ford is next.
Thank you, Brian.
Says, hey guys, hope everyone is doing well.
We are. That's
We
really
are.
nice.
I hope you're
We
doing
are.
well too.
Thank
Doing well
you.
on the Saturday afternoon. Thank you so much, man.
It was funny as you were reading out the names of the super chatters from last time. It's like literally 3 of those people already done.
That's what I mean, though. Like, it means the world, man. It's amazing.
Oh, actually 4. I stand corrected. It was 4 people.
Thank you, guys.
Next, we have Jarek.
Thank you, Jarek.
Let's just jump into it. Hey, Dylan, what's up?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Jarek, hopefully Jarek might actually be coming on soon.
Yes,
Hopefully he is.
that could be really
Just
cool.
told you guys about that. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much, Jarek. I appreciate it, man.
Next, we have Jake Goes Online. Weekly hello to Jordan. Hi, Jordan. Hello, Jake Goes Online.
Hey, Jake.
And
Thank
Dylan.
you, Jake. Oh, thank you,
And
Jake.
Dylan,
Oh, we
so-
said hi to
Oh,
me.
you're
this
included.
time. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jake. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank
All
you.
right, it's okay.
And
At least we
then
have Retta.
the most recent one is from Nicholas Horton.
Thank you, Nick.
I hope we get news on opening 3 soon.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that. Actually, in my opening monologue, I'm going to talk about that.
We'll
so thank you,
address
Nick.
that,
That's a perfect segue. You guys ready to talk about 96?
Yeah.
Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, you want to start?
Yeah, all right, I'll start us off. I'll start us off. So, you know, as I say this I've said this for the first 9 live streams. I don't like to talk about things I talked about in the review. So instead of actually talking about the episode, sometimes I like to address community concerns, like I did with the Blue Maiden and Bowman duel. And what I want to say in this duel, in this episode at least, and what the community I've been seeing a lot of. I was on the phone with my friend Pete last night, who's not able to come here for these live streams because of work. We were playing a little bit of The Last of Us online, and he said to me, you know, I went back and I watched the Ending 5 reaction that we did, and I read the comments, and we really do read the comments from you guys, so thank you as always for leaving them. And he said, yeah, the comments, you know, a lot of people seemed to be very split on the ending. A lot of people didn't like the ending. A lot of people did like the ending. And he said that I was stunned at how many people seem to be convinced that the show is ending in the next couple of months.
Because of the ending.
Because of the ending, and just because I guess there's been no news on a new season and a new opening. And I've seen it a lot too, that there are some people who are convinced there's like 6 episodes left of the show and it's going to end.
That would be concerning.
It
right?
would be concerning. And there are other people who think that maybe in October that's when it's going to end, because October is usually when it changes, like in April.
Right.
That's a little more realistic. But I'm here to say that I am 98% confident this show is not going to be delayed. Not going to be cut short. I don't think there's going to be any issue with the show ending anytime soon. I understand, and I obviously respect the concerns that people have, because, you know, if the show does end prematurely, as Pete said last night, not only would it suck because, you know, there's no VRAINS anymore,
right,
but it would suck because so much missed opportunities.
Absolutely.
There is still enough. If the show ends, it won't be because they ran out of ideas. You still have all of Soul Technologies to explore.
Right.
You still have all of not the Lost Incident victims that we haven't gone through.
Right.
Miyu and Wendy's kid, if Wendy's kid is even going to be alive, but we know Miyu is still a factor.
Right.
So you still have Miyu to explore. We know that there's a spy at the Knights of Soul Tech for the Knights of Hanoi. That's another storyline that can be explored.
Right.
And we still have Revolver versus Playmaker. Remember, Revolver said, let's stop the evil Ignis, and then we're going to settle things between you and I. There's still plenty of plot points for them to explore.
And,
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And for whatever reason, like if that's your point, like, oh, that they're running out of ideas, likely the show would continue and it would just go off the rails. But if it's going to end, it's because of budgeting or something internal.
Exactly. It's going to be internal reasons.
Yeah, there's way too much, like way too many paths they can go on to be like, for someone to say that there's not enough information.
Right. And like, yeah, on top of what they already have, creativity is limitless. So it can go somewhere.
They can create a new character, like they did with Soulburner. We didn't even know Soulburner existed in 46.
Exactly.
And look at how massive of a role he played this season.
Right. So
there's
no reason it's going to end. That's not going to be a reason it's going to end.
That won't be a
R.I.P.
reason.
Soulburner.
R.I.P. Soulburner, right. And moreover, every single Yu-Gi-Oh! We have gotten at least 9 months to a year's notice of when the show is ending.
Sure.
With Arc 5 in July of 2016 or June of 2016, we got an article that said, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 is going to end spring of 2017. Okay, so we got about a 9-month heads up. Arc 5 ended up ending in late March. So June to March, it was about 9 months. VRAINS, 9 months from now, even if an article came out, that wouldn't be until January.
Exactly.
So unless they break that precedent, VRAINS is not going to end before January. It's not going to end after these next few duels. It's not going to end in October. Of course, you know, precedents are made to be broken.
Right.
I do say that a lot.
They clearly have broken some precedent.
With the openings and the endings. And I think the other concern is that the opening hasn't changed. Right. But I am very confident, as Nick just said, that I really do believe, and not even based on the summaries, because again, I'm trying to remain as spoiler-free as possible. Even before the summaries came out, there were 4 characters left, and 2 of them are already dueling. Right. And this isn't a situation where, oh, well, maybe they'll lose, but they'll stay alive. Sure. We know that every time a character loses, they basically get assimilated. They die, they get absorbed, whatever happens.
For all intents and purposes, they're dead.
They're dead.
Further notice.
Until further notice. So we have Revolver, we have Playmaker, we have Lightning, and we have Bowman.
Right.
There was only so many more episodes that these 4 were going to stay alive and duel each other for.
Sure.
Before it ends and the season has to change.
Right.
So I am pretty confident that in April this month, around 17th, 18th, when the V-Jump leaks come out, we will be getting, hopefully, some news on a new opening. If not a new opening, at least a new season beginning. Because there's no way that they can continue all the way until October, which is when it usually changes. That's another 20 episodes that these 4 would have to keep dueling and carry the show, where all the other characters are dead and unconscious. And it's also kind of a missed opportunity, because those are 20 episodes that you could revive the other characters and have them get more story time and screen time. So I say with a lot of confidence, and hopefully this does ease a few people that are worried the show is going to end. Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS will go the typical 140, 145 episodes that every spinoff after GX is gone. There's nothing that tells me, that indicates to me it won't go that long, especially because, remember, Jesse Wood, who I was talking to, he's a very nice supporter of mine, a Diamond Tier patron. I actually think he's going to be on next week, so that'll be a lot of fun. He's coming in from Wisconsin for Brooklyn.
Wow.
And
right, okay.
For the regionals, for the YCS, or I don't know if it's the YCS. I always get my terminology confused. And he said, he made a great point. Revolver Structure Deck has been announced, and that's coming out, I believe, late June or early July. So there's no way the show's going to end in late May. And then the Revolver Structure Deck is going to come out.
It would be detrimental for the sales of the cards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? Konami, as every company, is concerned with their public image. How humiliating would it be if the anime had to get cut short because they didn't have the money to fund it?
Right.
If the studio is really in dire need of more animators and more money, Konami will bail them out. Konami is a massive company, and with Duel Links and the card game sales, they are doing fine. In fact, in their last budget, I think they broke their revenue record in 2018 or 2017.
As a company or
as a
specifically
company,
for you?
As a
Okay.
company. So they are doing amazingly in terms of financials, at least from what from the public has seen. So if Studio Gallop is really in that much trouble and it's getting to the point where they might not be able to continue the show, Konami will bail them out. I'm confident on that. They do not want a disaster like that where, oh, wow, you're that bad that you couldn't even continue the show because of budget reasons. Yeah. That's humiliating. No company wants that look.
No, yeah.
So I have a lot of confidence that this show is going to last the same amount of time. I think it's hysteria more than anything else.
I totally agree.
Understandable hysteria based on how the ending was portrayed and how we haven't gotten a new opening and how there have been a few other, clear issues with the show in terms of like the early recaps and all that stuff.
I
So
think,
understandable, but I think it's mostly hysteria.
I think the biggest concern as someone that would be watching thinking that it could end is the not getting a new opening part. Because you kind of think of it as, especially with the way they've done, 5 endings now?
I think it's also been, sorry to interrupt you, that they haven't updated the opening. There's a still image of Blue Maiden and Ghost Girl, or Blue Girl and Ghost Girl.
Costumes,
Why have you not changed her to Blue Maiden?
Right.
That's not even an animated scene. That's a still image.
Right, it's easy. It's
That's
an easy
so easy to put Blue Maiden in.
And I think that if you have a new opening, that is something that indicates, okay, you're opening a new season.
Right.
Like that's how the openings I feel like
Very
work.
good
It's
point.
like you have one to open up what's to come. The endings, I can understand having multiple endings per season because with so many episodes, the theme of it changes. For example, like if one of the main villains in the thing is like gone midway through, okay, you change the ending because he's not really relevant. But like right now, the beginning and the ending just don't go together at all.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is something that would be concerning in the sense of people saying, "Oh, maybe it's ending," because they still haven't updated the what was the opening in like
47 is when it started.
Yeah, like
47.
It's been 50 episodes.
Yeah, which is crazy. And there's no end in sight for it to air.
Yeah.
And now you look at the opening with everything that's happened, and almost every single character in the opening is dead.
Right.
They're gone.
Exactly.
At least 60% of the characters in the opening have to be gone and dead for the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's funny that you say there's no end in sight, but I think that with the arc clearly coming to some sort of head, I think there is an end in sight for that opening.
I would love just a surprise new opening. Like one episode.
They don't even announce it?
Yeah, like one episode
That'd be
comes out and
cool.
it's just like either a really dark one where it's like just like the season's coming to an end type thing. Or just brand new out of nowhere, like episode 100. Oh, by the way, there's a new opening.
There's a new opening.
Like,
That'd be
there you go.
cool.
Great.
That would be cool.
Because you never see it coming. Like, you get that first 2 minutes before the opening actually starts. And then all of a sudden it just hops in. You're like, wait a second. Like, what's this? Like,
Yeah.
This is not the same thing.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think to expand on what you said about them not like wanting to, sort of be in the public image, like Konami being the public image in a bad way. Like they've had enough controversy with, the whole Metal Gear Solid thing.
Right.
Like I don't think
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is almost their safe thing.
this is their safety thing.
Yeah.
Like why would they? That's not something they would want to ruin because it's doing so well. It has a loyal community of fans that would be really hurt and turned away from Konami if they were to do something like that.
Absolutely.
I think
And I think you're right. It would fall, I think, on Konami's hands because I don't know their direct relationship with Studio Gallop, but clearly they own Yu-Gi-Oh! They own the IP.
Yeah.
And so they have to have some sort of funding towards Studio Gallop because Studio Gallop is most of their income has to be coming hopefully from Konami, because what the Yu-Gi-Oh anime does is it's supposed to lead to card game sales.
Right.
But Studio Gallup doesn't make money from card game sales.
Right, exactly.
I don't know if they make a small percentage or they get like a daily or bi-weekly like income from them. I don't know how it works. No one does. We probably never will know the exact dynamics
no, I don't
between
think they'll
them.
ever show us that breakdown.
But clearly, the studio is, you would assume, hurting based on not having a new opening, not even updating the new opening in terms
Right.
of putting in Blue Maiden in a still image. I mean,
Right.
that's, I don't want, then again, I can't, I don't want to call it lazy, but I almost feel like it wouldn't cost that much money to insert Blue Maiden over Blue Girl in that image.
it wouldn't.
So, I mean, it kind of is lazy to a degree.
it is,
Or
but
unless they've just forgotten about it and they're so
I
like,
doubt that.
and they're working on the new opening and they're like, you know what, let's just leave this be.
I think that's the case. I don't think they've forgotten it because it's clear. Like you see it every episode.
Right, it's every,
No
and
one- there's
more
no way you
people
can- it's
watch
in
the
your face.
opening than the ending.
Exactly.
But this
So-
is the first one in a while where I get a lot of people who write in my comments and
why?
are like, no, I skip the opening at this point. That's what
I
people
do
will
as
say.
well.
No, and I know a lot of people do.
but,
because,
yeah.
50 episodes, it
I
gets
think
dragged out.
maybe that at this point, they've come this far. Why not wait till the new arc? Why change it for 4 episodes or whatever? X amount of episodes, and then the new arc is here, and then that opening is irrelevant.
Right.
So they've done it this long. At least just let's get to the new arc, if there is one
At this point, yeah.
at this
Yeah.
point, and have it something relevant to the episodes.
What are anyone saying anything interesting on the topic? I know the convo and the chat can get off the rails sometimes. But I want to
it's
see if
kind of a
anyone
lot
else.
of just different
Just chat.
stuff. Not
That's all
really
good.
about.
A lot of
No, I
people saying hi to
understand.
Pete.
Yeah, Pete's here.
Oh, hey, Pete. What's up, dude?
Yeah, Pete's here.
Thanks, man, for coming by.
No one was really,
Talking about the opening?
for the most part, no.
All right, cool.
Like a few comments here and there, but more just kind of like in agreement or.
All right, cool.
But there were 2 donations.
Okay, great.
Woo!
Awesome. And then we'll get into episode 96. I want to hear really from Cal and Nick T on that.
Absolutely.
And from you guys, too.
So we have one from Michael Winley.
Michael Winley.
Thank you,
He
Michael.
donated €5.
Oh, €5.
Yes.
European currency. I love
Yep.
it.
So
Thank you,
he
Michael.
said Lightning and Revolver possibly a draw. Revolver and Lightning both absorbed by Bowman. Also bring on Man United versus Barcelona.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm hoping Michael is a Man United fan in
What do
this
you think?
instance.
Well, if he said
Oh, it's
bring
Euro.
on, he's probably, I would almost think Barcelona.
I
Well, he
If
said-
he said bring
Well,
on.
He's also
bring on
donating
Man
in
U
euros.
versus Barca, so it could be.
It could be a
be
mutual.
either.
Michael, let us know what fan. But he said he donated euros. If he was in England, it would have been pounds.
That's
Exactly.
exactly. This
So
man.
I'm thinking he's a
Uh-oh.
Barca fan.
That's-
Which, you know what? If you're a Barca fan, good for you because you're probably going to smoke us. But that'll be a good. I can't wait
I
for
might
that.
have to wear my Leo
You know,
Messi
it's-
jersey next time.
Right. Well, PSG got knocked out, so it makes sense. But thank you for the donation, Michael. I really do appreciate
It's
it, man.
funny,
Revolver Lightning could very well be a draw.
I didn't even consider that when sending in my prediction either. So I'm like,
Draw and no result are viable
Yeah,
options.
I know
Yeah.
it's so tough to pick that though,
Yeah.
because it's like you think if you're really thinking about what you make the picks.
No one's ever picked a draw or no result.
Well, not only that, it's like you probably think there's a 40% chance one person wins, a 40% chance the other person wins, and there's 10% no result, 10% draw. Like
Yeah.
that's how I look at it.
Yeah. I agree.
So
That's
it's like, are you really gonna risk like it's gonna be a draw? Which I think
fair.
of
Again,
all duels,
$500 steak dinner on the line here
Yeah.
for
Oh,
us.
wait. When did we set a number?
If you're getting a good steak in New York City, that's what the person's going to
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'm
cost
just,
is
that
gonna
might be lowballing it, dude.
Yeah, no. Well, it
Jesus
depends on the
Christ.
restaurant personally, but yeah, of all duels, this is one where I'm like, no result or draw is like a very high chance.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I agree.
it's
I
hard.
agree.
It's so hard to pick.
It's tough.
that.
It's tough.
So we had one other donation, but we just got a new one. So now we have 2 donations.
Okay, okay. Thank you guys so much. Really,
we have
thank you
one
guys.
from Rafael Castillo. He donated $20.
Oh,
but
my
no
thank-
comment, so that's
Hey, Raphael,
Yeah.
thank you so much, dude. I hope you're having a great Saturday, and I hope you have an amazing weekend, man.
That's my middle name.
Hey,
It's spelled
Raphael,
the
is
same
it
way.
actually?
Yeah.
Nick Raphael, that's awesome.
Like
Thank you so much,
Actually,
man.
he spells it differently.
I
but
actually
either
think
way.
Raphael is one of the coolest names. I've always thought it was one of the coolest
you.
names.
Thank you.
Coolest
Yeah,
name
thanks,
for a
dude.
girl, Maria.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's a cool name.
All right.
Well, I mean, what was with the
I don't-
judging glares that
No.
you two just gave me?
No, nothing.
Like, Jesus.
I know,
I was
I
just
know.
thinking of like
That's
I
just
thought
my
you were gonna
face,
say like
I
an
don't-
abnormal name or
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
like it was like
Maria,
coolest name and then it was
Sophia's,
something.
Sophia's a cool name
We were
too.
talking about
When,
Sophia.
when I think of Maria or Sophia, I think of like a warrior that could just
Marie-
kill an army.
I could see that more
Sophia.
for Maria than Sophia, I think.
I think I could see Sophia. I don't know.
I like both of the names.
No, they're great names. But I thought you were gonna say like when you said coolest name, I was like,
Yeah,
let's see what this is.
I was thinking of something like you were gonna say something exotic.
Crustacea.
Crustacea?
Crustacea, yeah.
Like she's a crab or something.
no, that's her name. Crustacea.
That's a.
Okay. Anyway,
The next
All right, what's
no.
the next one? Thank you so much, Raphael. Really appreciate it, dude.
And the most recent one was from Odd Eyes Vaughn.
Thank
he
you,
donated
Devon.
$20.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much,
He said, the Windy/Lightning fan strikes again. Last week she hated on Flame being a bad character. Now she's calling Revolver, and now she's calling Revolver bad. First the owie hate, now this. What's up with this Yu-Gi-Oh hate community?
dude. Well, yeah, I mean,
He's got a point.
yeah. Well, there. Thank you so much, Odd Eyes. A great guy. He was an Egyptian god tier
best.
patron for a couple of months. Thank you so much, dude. You've really helped me out a lot. And I hope things are going well. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I actually know a friend of mine who's not even going on Twitter for the next few weeks because he's just so tired. And what? Is everything okay?
Red Eye, the coolest name is Calibro. Don't at me.
I knew he was
right.
gonna chime in.
That's fair, of course. I'll give you that one. I think on the internet, hate always echoes way louder than positivity.
Absolutely.
facts.
Always. Because, I don't know about you, but when I mean, it's different for me because I'm a content creator in the community.
Right.
But if I watched an episode, if you watched an episode, and let's say you were vocal in the community.
Sure.
If you watched an episode and you liked it,
Right.
would you ever tweet about it?
Not if it blew me away, maybe.
But if you
Otherwise,
enjoyed it.
if I enjoyed it,
If I just
probably
enjoyed
not.
it,
If you
probably
enjoyed an
not,
episode,
no.
you wouldn't tweet about it.
I might say
But if I didn't like
not
it,
a bad episode.
right. But if I didn't like it,
Then you're
I would
more
be vocal.
inclined to say something.
Oh, if it's really bad, I'm like, wow, this episode sucks.
even if it's just
like
moderately bad, it was like I didn't like that. Like
Yeah.
it just wasn't good.
But
People are more likely
exactly.
to be vocal. if
They're
they
more likely to
dislike
be
something.
vocal on.
It's
line.
like writing Yelp reviews.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if I like something, I rarely.
Like,
I've
online
never
to
left
review
a
something.
good review. I've never left a bad review either. To be fair,
But
Yeah.
the trend is people like something on Yelp, they're less likely to write a good one. But if they hate something, they're getting a bad review.
yeah, and that's just how human nature works. And so it does suck, Odd Eyes. But I would say that just be mindful of where you're looking because I've noticed that.
You can fall down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, the Twitter rabbit hole is one you do not want to go on. It's just amazing to me because there was actually an account that just rips on VRAINS almost week in and week out, and
I love it.
I stopped going on this
kidding,
account,
I'm
and this was someone who really liked Arc 5, and I had actually positive conversations with in Arc 5. And again, I'm not telling you to like a show or not like a show. Your opinion is your opinion. But when you're being vocal about it and shoving your opinion down people's throats, and it's week in and week out, just drop the show.
Right,
If you
exactly.
don't like the show, why are you watching it? And I do get some sick satisfaction from people who clearly do not like the show
Right.
that have wasted, at this point, 46 hours of their life.
Right. Why would you watch
watching Yu-Gi-Oh!
96
VRAINS.
episodes of a show you hate?
Yeah, exactly.
You drop
Yeah.
it within the pilot season.
Exactly.
And that's it.
You after 15 episodes of the show and characters are not
You're
clicking
done.
for you, it's over.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You're not a weak person.
No.
That's cool. You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I respect your opinion. You didn't like the show. That's fine. In fact, to the people that drop the show because they didn't like it and don't rip on it 24/7,
That's
thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
amazing.
I feel that Odd Eyes Vaughn was speaking particularly on one user, which I think I know who he's talking about based on our conversations. But you just have to avoid the negativity sometimes.
Also,
Yeah.
Twitter is the most toxic.
It-
place
it's a
on
cesspool.
earth.
Twitter is worse than Tumblr.
I actually try to avoid Twitter if I can.
I
It's
think
hard to, but I
think Twitter's worse than
avoid it.
Tumblr. I've said it before.
Well,
Well, maybe it's not worse than Tumblr. I don't have experience
There are
on Tumblr. I've just
I
heard
have
Tumblr
a
horror
decent
stories
experience. It really all depends on
on the community.
Yeah.
Twitter, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, and even with my YouTube channel, I've considered just getting rid of my Twitter.
know, yeah.
Because people are it's just bile on there. That's all it is, 24/7. So you have to be mindful of where you are. Because on this channel and on this podcast, we've been critical of things before, but there's ways to be critical and doing it in a respectful way.
Sure.
And I think what I always try to do is when I'm critical of something, I always try to look at a positive aspect of a different part of the episode
Right,
or a
yeah.
different part of the story. And I think people don't do that enough. I think people just let the negativity fester. And what I've noticed too is if you're not enjoying the show, everything the show does you hate.
Exactly,
And
absolutely.
that always happens.
Yeah,
It's
there
never
is no
like
positive
there's
light.
no positive light ever. It's not like after 10 episodes a duel is really good. No, you just start to hate the show more and more and more. And that's the
snowballs.
negativity. It
Yeah.
just festers. So
Yep.
it does suck. I wouldn't say it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Hate community, but if you look for it, you will 100% find it in every fandom.
In every fandom.
In every fandom.
Yeah,
There's no
absolutely.
100% pure, fandom. It
No.
doesn't exist.
And compared to some other fandoms where they, send death threats to their creators,
Exactly.
Yu-Gi-Oh's not too bad.
and it's not even just like a TV show. Like if you go online, like I'm sure you follow like sports accounts and stuff like that too. Somebody makes one bad play, it's like, oh, go to hell! Like you're the worst player I've ever seen, and people like send like death threats on Twitter to people, and it's like all the dude did was like miss a PK in a match. Like, it's crazy. Like the things that if you look for it too, you find it, and then you click on one thing and you fall into this
rabbit
black hole.
Yeah,
literally of just all negative like comments on everything.
Like people are attracted to negativity.
That's what it is.
Because even if you ask someone how their day is, a lot of times people's first reaction is, "Oh, it was awful."
Mm-hmm,
Instead of just saying
It's
like
alright.
it right, it's all right, or like it's good.
It's
No,
whatever.
people love being
like
negative.
complaining.
Misery
Yeah.
likes company.
That's
Yeah.
facts.
And social media, I think, empowers negativity and hatred because you're from the safety of a keyboard. You have an anonymous account in most fandoms because your username's usually like Revolver Lover 55.
Sure.
It's not your name. No one knows who you actually are.
Oh, sure. The anonymity. Yeah.
Yeah,
It-
and I
it
think
helps
that and being behind a keyboard and not having to be vocal or present, I think that empowers hatred.
It can. I think, yeah, it does, and it will, but I think it all depends on you personally. Like, in anything, like, it's all about who you surround yourself with. Like, if I saw a bunch of accounts I don't like or don't like what they're saying, I either mute or block. You can either mute or block them and surround yourself. I mean, it ends up being an echo chamber of people just agreeing with you, which can be sort of, exhausting at times, but at least you can surround yourself by people who are more positive on social media. It's contingent on what you want to see.
I don't. I've because one person at one point. I remember a troll called my channel an echo chamber, which that term. I don't know. I feel like people don't, especially trolls, don't know the difference between constructive criticism
No.
and just being an asshole.
No, no, they don't.
And so it's not that I can't take constructive criticism. I obviously can take constructive criticism.
And I'm sure you've taken it
I
to heart
have-
and actually made changes based on
Absolutely.
that.
I've tried to improve the editing of my videos, which I'm sure if you remember my older videos, hopefully, you'll say that my videos have improved editing wise.
Sure.
I've tried to, get better thumbnails. So my Stardust Nobody makes my thumbnails. Legendary Duels makes my review thumbnails. Because I know that I'm not really capable of making amazing thumbnails, so I outsource them.
Sure.
So I've improved in that regard. But if you write to someone and say, "Oh, you know what? You're an absolute garbage person. This channel is garbage," and then I write back and I say, "All right, well, be good. I'm probably going to mute you." I don't say that. I'm just saying as an example.
in your
And
head,
then they're
you're
like,
like-
"Oh, right, because you just want an echo chamber." No, you're being an asshole.
If
That's
someone
not
says like, "Hey, I
constructive
kind of disagree with
criticism.
what you're saying here," it's like, that's fine. That's
Right,
cool.
exactly. That's cool. You're entitled to your opinion. People have disagreed with my timeline,
Right, and you're
You
not
think
gonna block them
No,
because
I've never blocked anyone who's disagreed with me in a
Civil way.
In a civil way, yes, never. And I don't block many people, to be fair, but it's gotten to the point where with VRAINS, I started soft blocking accounts. That's when I'm at my wit's end on Twitter. And I don't know if you know what soft blocking
don't.
is. So if you're mutually following someone, you block them. And then you unblock them.
So they
unfollow
unfollow
you, and you're unfollowing them.
I know the technique. I
Yeah.
didn't know the name for it. But I like that.
That's a technique. And I did it to about like 6 or 7 accounts, and I was like, I gotta stop this. Like I'm really, because I follow like 1,500 accounts on Twitter, and I'm
Wow.
like I'm at my wit's end. I've never done this before, but eventually, as Odd Eye said, it just gets to the point where it's just tiring.
It's tiring.
Like life is challenging enough. Taxes, which it's tax season for us, and I just did my taxes are a nightmare. And the future, relationships.
It's all
It's scary. Health. It's all scary stuff. Yu-Gi-Oh is supposed to be an outlet. It's supposed to be an enjoyable escape. And if you don't enjoy it,
Then it's one
watch
other
something
stressor
else
in your life, yeah.
But yeah, you're just stressing yourself out. So that's how I've always viewed it, and that's why I try to spread the show in a positive light.
Agreed.
But we kind of really got off
We
the
did,
rails.
but like I think it's an important.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking about
And-
everything.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this
Anyways.
it is relevant to the community specifically. Even if we got into a general sense, it's relevant to the community. So.
Absolutely. So thank you, Odd Eyes, for the
We have
donation.
2 more donations.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
We have a $5 one from Darky Scythe.
Thank you, Dark Scythe. I appreciate it, my man.
Says, fans talk hate about Bowman. Why does he get the most duels out of all characters? How many rematches does he have to duel with Playmaker again?
So I've seen people hate Bowman. And I'll be honest, I did not like him at all. I thought and Pete said the same thing, where Pete and I were both like, yeah, he's kind of a nobody, boring character.
I agreed at first.
Until the draw against Playmaker. And then when he beat Blue Maiden, and then he beat Soulburner, I have gained so much admiration, not admiration, but so much enjoyment from watching him that I honestly think he's a completely different character than when he first debuted. And I'm actually kind of excited at a Bowman Playmaker rematch.
I am
because
as well.
he's so powerful now. And that's something that I never thought I'd say. I was dreading a round 4 possibility.
Right. And you know what? Actually, especially even without getting too far into the episode, because I guess we'll still discuss it. As of this episode, I'm especially interested in him now, much more than I was, 10, 20, 15 episodes ago, about from him as a character standpoint. Because he's become from sort of a bland character, not knowing who he was, to developing this personality of like sort of righteousness, but not. It's almost backhanded. And then now he's like outrightly defying Lightning with like, no, I want to hear like what Revolver has to say. Like he's becoming so multi, faceted. He's become a really interesting character from where he started. So I really want to see how this plays out with him on like a intellectual and like character development sense.
Yeah.
I also enjoy his dueling style.
His dueling
changes.
styles, yeah.
Like
He's come a long way.
It's kind of similar. It's always like been like the same type of like style in a sense of like using attributes, but it's so. I feel like it's just the way he duels now is so much different. Like he's quick, precise with like everything that he does, and there's no mistake. Like someone's like, oh, I have a counter for your counter for your counter, and he's still ready.
Yeah, it's flawless, and that's the intellectual AI that he is now.
Exactly.
And I mean, I know a lot of people do hate him, but I gotta
like
be
him.
honest, I like him. He has grown. If any character has grown on me in the last 20 episodes the most, it's him by far.
Agreed.
It's him by a country mile. So thank you, Dark Scythe, for the donation, man. I appreciate it. What, a country mile?
What's the difference between a city mile and a country mile?
What's the difference between a city mile and a nautical mile? There's a difference.
A city mile and a country. There's a difference between a city and a country.
Yeah. Right, a
Country
city.
mile is a little
distance-wise-
bit longer because you're just in the wide open, kind of like.
But
the,
a mile is a
ocean
measure.
mile.
But the
mile's
mile's
still
the measure.
same.
The mile, the
No,
distance
You
is
know this
exactly
on
the same. But
country
nautical
No, but there's
mile.
still, but it's still a saying.
It's still a saying, but
It's still a saying.
It's a me, Mario.
Very nice.
You know the song.
You're
Thank you,
We're not
Dark
gonna
Scythe.
get copyrighted for that, right? That
No,
was
'cause he said
that was a
it's-
good
No,
amount.
I did the Mario remix.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're good.
you're okay.
Come on.
So we have another donation from Wolverine.
Thank you, Wolverine.
Wow.
Says, "Is that a Death Parade poster? Hail Hydra Drive."
Yeah.
Where?
There, and there's another one right up there. Yeah. I don't know if you can. This one's
No,
probably
that
off
one
camera.
can't be seen.
Yeah, that's a decim. Death Parade's probably my favorite anime. It's the
Wow.
best. I don't watch many anime outside of Yu-Gi-Oh, to be fair. I'm in the middle of Code Geass, which has been a really enjoyable ride so far, even though I've been in the middle of that for like the last month and a half. I just don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. But yeah, that is Death Parade was one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Wow.
Amazing show. It's only 12 episodes. Highly recommend. It's a great show. Great show.
We have another donation from Odd Eyes Vaughn.
Thank you, Devon. And thank you, Wolverine, by the way.
$5.
Thank you, Odd Eyes. Appreciate it, man.
Dylan, please make a Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything Discord. Bowman is low-key a better villain than anyone from DM, GX, and Arc 5 combined. I love them all, but still.
That is bold.
That is very bold. Thank you, Odd Eyes. Especially, so I'm gonna agree with him on GX.
But he said combined. I think that's what
Oh,
makes it bold. He said combined. So I was like,
I'm
okay,
gonna agree
maybe.
with him on
but-
GX, and I'm gonna agree with him, I think, on Arc 5. I think Bowman is better than any villain that Arc 5 had, and any villain that GX had.
From my limited exposure to GX, obviously my exposure to GX is limited to the sub,
Yeah.
but I would agree. I don't think there was really the story itself was good and like the interactions between students, but as far as a true villain who was
Well, the true villain was season 4, so if you only watched the dub, you missed it.
Yeah, then like
Yeah, 'cause it was
as far as the
darkness.
first few 3 seasons, like no one really stands out that much.
Yeah, I thought Sayu was pretty good. Sartorius was a decent one. The
Sure.
tarot guy, the predicting guy.
Yeah.
And Yubel was interesting. A lot of people like Yubel. But I think Bowman is probably better than... I disagree with Dual Monsters, though, man. I
got
do
a lot of good
disagree
ones.
there.
Marek and
Marek,
even
Bakura, Pegasus. Dual Monsters was... If there has never been a Yu-Gi-Oh! Show that has beaten the original in terms of villains. And I don't think there ever will be. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Had... Takahashi is amazing at writing villains. Even Aigami in Dark Side of Dimensions I thought was a great
Right,
villain.
right.
He's amazing at writing villains. And Pegasus, Bakura, Marek... A lot of people like Darts. Well, I wasn't personally a fan of Darts. He was probably my least favorite, him and Noah. But those three, I would
I love Marek.
Yeah,
and Bakura. The
Marek
two of
to me
them-
is the best villain ever in every Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. But I love Bowman.
But hey, you know
the
what?
point still stands.
I do
Bowman's great.
like that statement. I'd say it's
It's so bold that I'm like, I respect that.
yeah, I do respect it. Although I don't even know if Bowman's the best villain on this show.
Because it could be Queen.
I would say Lightning.
Oh.
I think Lightning's
Well,
been
I think we have yet to see.
yeah, him and Lightning are very. Bowman's been good. I'm glad someone else likes Bowman. I definitely don't think he's been that good. Where you can combine those three shows.
Yeah.
But hey, I love the prediction, man. I love the claim, at least the theory there. But thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it.
We have another donation
Thank you, guys.
from Joseph Tedisco.
Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate it, man.
No, his thing is funny. Yeah,
Oh.
read.
Lightning is a terrible Ignis when even Windy had better chances of coexisting with humans than he did.
That's so true.
You know what, Joseph? We haven't even talked about 96 yet.
Yeah,
at least
maybe
from
that
you two.
should be our-
That's a great transition. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Joseph. Thank you for the donation, man. Thank you all for the donations. 96, what did you guys think? Were you stunned at all by that Lightning is basically like the runt of the litter?
Absolutely.
I love
Because and I think the way they addressed it, even in the episode, like all the characters' thoughts about it were like mirrored my own while watching. It's like, wow, so Lightning portrays himself as this superior Ignis. He's better than all the others. He's smarter. He's a better planner. But yet, based on all the simulations, any communication he has with humans will result in failure, and that just makes him so weak.
Pathetic.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
And that's what drove him to do what he's done so far. And I think it shocked me, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see it really grinds his gears.
Oh, it
it's
infuriates him.
infuriating. And
Yeah.
now because of that, he has to destroy and you know what?
Everything.
And I think it was an interesting thing because it said that the simulations prove that any relationship with humans would result in the end of humans and Ignis, which it's proved the end of Ignis because he's killed all of them.
Yeah.
Other than, I. But,
I, right now.
still, like, he's the last roadblock. He's killed the other Ignis. So I think it really goes to show that he is a failure at what he was designed to do.
Yeah.
I think he's like fighting for his life, but it's taking away everyone else's. He's like, well, if I can't coexist with everyone, then no one's going to coexist with me instead of vice versa. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And I think that take on it is he's so desperate. I think they even said that.
They
in the
called him
show.
desperate.
Yeah, he's so desperate. He's willing to take out everything that like was built for him basically, and is putting on this like facade that he's some great Ignis when clearly he's the bottom of the totem pole.
Right.
And Revolver's just like, yeah, you're a crappy Ignis. Like
Yeah.
you're not
You're
good
a
at what
failure.
you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I love
was
that.
really
I did
great.
that.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And it surprised me. And it's like his inferiority, his proven inferiority
Right.
by these simulations led to him faking this superiority god complex.
Right. It is a god complex.
And I think it's so fascinating.
Which, I mean, if you think about it from a psychological standpoint, a lot of complexes like that come from
Well,
a
that's
lack
why
thereof.
a few people had commented on my review and said, I think Lightning might actually, even though he's obviously not a human, he was one of the most relatable villains
Right.
in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because literally, as you just said, it's very realistic.
Right.
That's usually how superiority complex comes about.
Right.
And like, he was so, I guess, afraid and discouraged by what happened that he let his own self-doubts create this event where he destroyed everything because he couldn't come to grips with what reality was.
Agreed.
And it was just so fascinating.
There was a comment
Yes.
from G.
Thank you, Jay, for the comment. Love the username, by the way.
Personal thoughts on AIs possibly having free will and coexisting with humans.
In real life or the show? Because I think
I would assume the show.
Well, I think because I think we've established that these AI have free will, and that's what sets them apart. That's what makes them dangerous.
And they can coexist. It's just not with Lightning.
Yeah, they can coexist. The simulations
Which is kind
of
of what
it's
we just
possible.
figured
But I don't
out,
know
yeah.
maybe if they mean like, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe is kind of what they're getting at. Like, Do you
Right.
think it's in the show? Do you think it's a good thing if that's?
I think it's a great thing.
If it works out,
they
it can only be
coexist.
positive. Yeah,
But he's saying in real life, he just.
I think he's.
commented
Oh, in real
here.
life,
I think it'd be awesome in real life, but I have no
It's
idea.
terrifying.
Yeah,
I'm on the-
but
I'm
it's
on-
terrifying.
It's not happening.
I'm on the fence. If
See, but this is why, honestly, like I know some people don't like the sci-fi element of the show, This is why I think VRAINS is one of the most fascinating
very
shows
real.
because I think it's one of the realest shows.
Well, this has been a theory, a
Especially
growing
in
theory.
20 years.
Well, yeah, I'm saying in probably the past, I would argue 60 years or so, the thought of, computers and any sort of technology developing free will, developing its own thought, leading to what they call the singularity, where their thought far surpasses ours and they become the dominant race. Of course, coexisting, happens while that is happening, but it can become very dangerous, and I think the world is ready for that.
I'm terrified of the thought. It's funny because like self-driving cars don't like freak me out. Like I can't wait to get a self-driving car.
But that's not because the car is driving itself, yes, but it's not because it's thinking.
Right, but
it's because
I'm
it's
just
being
saying some
instructed.
people are even afraid of that. Like my
Right.
mom will never get in a self-driving car.
Right.
Terrified of it.
Well, just because of the possibility of failure.
Right, and we saw that with like the Blood Shepherd and his mom's situation, and I think that's what I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS because I think it's a show where you're going to look back on in maybe like 20, 25 years, and you're going to say, wow, they really kind of hit the nail on the hammer
Right.
with what's happening in the real
Hit the nail
world.
on the head.
Hit the nail on the head.
I got it. Yeah, no, you're right,
I can
though.
never get that phrase
You're
right.
right.
And I love that. And I think I remember one person said that it was like too real for them, which I guess is understandable.
Right, because
Yeah.
again, like you had said, it's to escape, but like that's
I don't know.
sci-fi.
I love
This
it.
is a sci-fi.
Yeah. I
This
love
Yu-Gi-Oh
it.
show is sci-fi, and I
the
like that.
VR aspect of it, like that, it's
That's
a whole
another
virtual
yeah,
reality.
that's
like
another.
virtual reality is being pushed now. Like,
Yeah, it's
so
here.
much in
Yeah.
gaming and everything like that. Like to the point where people, I'm sure there's people that play like virtual reality games that literally get lost in it.
Absolutely, it's
Like
easy
they're
to.
playing and they don't even like. You're so into it, you don't even realize, where you are anymore, like
Yeah,
what
you
you're
sort of
doing.
dissociate.
And I think
good
that
way.
in the aspect of that and in the aspect of AI, the only thing that scares me with AI is that I think humans are always going to try and make something bigger, better, stronger, smarter, faster to the point that it's just going to be better than we are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the movie I, Robot, but
yeah, there's
the
a lot.
The one robot that has the AI ends up being the one that helps them save the world.
The free will.
Because
Yeah.
he realizes what the issue is, but I mean, if every other of them is like, no, like you go against it, it could be detrimental to everyone.
Well, I will say Will Smith was great in that movie.
He is great in that movie.
Love Will Smith.
Yeah, and so was Jada Pinkett was in that movie, right?
I don't think
No.
so. His wife? No.
Beyonce Knowles.
No.
Different movie.
Female lead in that
I don't,
movie,
I
actually.
don't think it was Beyonce. But
But either way, there's a few movies that touch it.
Matrix.
I mean,
Ex Machina-
even like
I mean-
Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
slightly
yeah.
was
Yeah.
AI.
Oh, because the AI that is the leader of the Kree civilization, like, and it's
Ro-
scary.
Ronan.
Well, no, not Ronan.
No, not Ronan.
Ronan's just a warlord. But yeah, and they it's just bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
It scares me.
Yeah. No, it scares me too. I don't think it can
because
happen.
the thing is, like, if for whatever reason, if they become superior, right? Not even necessarily that they'll dominate, but once they become superior, they can create more of their own, and it just becomes overwhelming. Humanity would get overwhelmed.
Right, but then you'll have a lot that say, "Well, we don't have a need for humans anymore," and then that's it.
Exactly. That's
over.
yeah.
So it's terrifying. That's why, it's crazy. Hopefully that happens not in our lifetime.
Not yeah.
Well, there was a comment which I think probably goes along with this pretty well from Eternal Light. We're in the end game now.
Oh my! Good call. Very
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
100%.
Oh man.
100%.
So let's get into our formal predictions on this duel.
Sure.
As a reminder, Calibro is leading. He's 3-1. Nick T, myself, and Pete are 2-2. Whoever comes in last owes the rest of the team a steak dinner at the end. And we are going to predict. We've already texted in our predictions whether Revolver will win, Lightning will win, a no result, or a draw. Jordan, Pete texted you in. Do you want to go with his prediction first?
Yes. So Pete is pro Lightning.
He's Lightning. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so Pete is, and that must have hurt him because I know he loves Revolver. So he's picking Lightning, and hopefully you guys will leave your picks down below. Monitor what most of the chat is saying in regards to this duel, whether they're picking Revolver or Lightning.
Okay.
Nick T, what is your pick?
I picked Revolver.
Okay.
Yeah. Should I go into why?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think the only, unless Lightning allows himself to be absorbed by Bowman, I think the ending that makes the most sense is for Revolver to defeat Lightning, for Lightning to be absorbed by Bowman, and Revolver together with Playmaker take on Bowman.
I like that. And that's also my pick. I also picked Revolver. And I think that I kind of teased this to you in the car, like that something could happen to Revolver before the Bowman and Playmaker duel.
Yeah.
Which kind of knocks him out of the equation anyway, so it's still a 1-on-1. But I think that Bowman, he can win, but then Bowman might still absorb Lightning and almost. But at the same time, he might not need Lightning because Lightning's not very powerful anyway. We know he's the inferior Ignis as it is.
Right.
So I think that, but I picked Revolver, and I think that in some way, even though I picked Revolver, I'm like really slightly thinking it's going to be a draw, but I think it's going to be Revolver.
Before we get to yours, I want to address one of the comments here that someone said Revolver is like the Vegeta of VRAINS, and the idea of him beating the big bad villain is absurd, which I agree with. He is like the Vegeta, but I don't think in the end that Lightning is the big bad villain, and that's why I predicted Revolver, because I think it's Bowman.
I agree.
So
Now to you.
now to me. I love Revolver. I think he's a great character. I think he's one of the best characters in VRAINS. I am picking Lightning to win this duel.
Wow.
I'm gonna, I guess, go with Pete and pick Lightning. And the reason for that is I truly believe that Revolver has, win or loss, served his purpose in this duel by revealing this huge plot dump and this huge info drop that Lightning is the inferior Ignis and his reasons and motivations for doing it. Revolver and Spectre were the ones that uncovered this, but Revolver was the one that dialogued it to the audience.
Because Spectre is obviously.
So even if Revolver loses, his purpose was massive in proving what Lightning was trying to do. And I do believe after this episode that Lightning, knowing he's inferior to all the other Ignis, even if he defeats Revolver, which I think he will. I think Lightning will defeat Revolver, and and Revolver will be assimilated and absorbed like everyone else was. Lightning will willingly go into Bowman for the final duel. I think Lightning knows that his best chance to defeat Playmaker and I is with Bowman and not with him. And I think he realizes that Bowman has reached a point where he's superior to Lightning because he's taken down Soulburner, he's taken down Blue Maiden, he's taken down Flame and Aqua because of it. And I think Lightning realizes that, look, this guy was able to defeat 2 Ignis holders. I haven't defeated any of the other Ignis yet. Because that's the other thing. Lightning hasn't defeated any of the Ignis.
He hasn't.
Bowman defeated Flame and Aqua.
Right.
You can say he defeated Spectre, but Spectre wasn't working with his Ignis.
Right.
So I think at that point, Lightning will be the first Yu-Gi-Oh character in history to have 4 duels, never lose. The current record is actually Taya from Anzu. She dueled 3 times and she went 3-0. She never lost. And you say lost to Jack in a flashback, so even if you want to say he didn't actually lose to Kyoto, he still lost to Jack Atlas in that universe, so he technically did lose. Lightning will be the first Yu-Gi-Oh character that duels at least, unless it's Playmaker when the show is over, that duels at least 4 times, never loses. Lightning will defeat Revolver. He will willingly go into Bowman, and we will have Playmaker and Bowman. Round 4, the final duel to end this arc.
So you think he'll give himself up? He'll win.
I think he will give himself up. I think he will.
I don't think Lightning is that. I don't know what the right word is.
You know, before this episode, I did not think that I didn't think he was going to give himself up. I thought his motivations that Revolver was going to reveal were going to be about how he wanted to like control Bowman externally.
Right.
But after this episode and knowing that he is inferior and the reason that he created Bowman and that Bowman I think has just surpassed Lightning at this point in terms of dueling, I think he is going to give himself up.
You know, he did say that all Ignis will be absorbed by Bowman. He did say that.
I think he's going to willingly give himself up.
I don't think he's that noble, though.
I think
that's
he's
the
got too
word
much
I'm looking for.
noble?
I don't think he's noble enough. I don't think he's willing to just give in before it's done. So, like, he still, like, Bowman technically still has to beat Playmaker for him to get I, right?
Right.
Then, after he has everything else, then I feel like he'd be like, all right, all said and done, all you need is me, let's go. I don't think without that, I think he's sitting there and he's like, well, is he really better than everybody else because he hasn't defeated I yet?
Right.
So I think that he would wait until Bowman wins to do that. And I don't think he's just gonna hop in and be like, all right, Bowman, here, take me in. I suck at everything anyway, supposedly, so.
But because if Revolver wins, Bowman will just absorb Lightning.
Yeah.
So that's your yeah.
Yeah.
The This is a tough duel to call,
It's a
man.
tough duel
Even
to
after
call.
the even after the one episode, even after the summaries, it's so hard to call.
The
Yeah.
more I think
Which
about
I
it, the
had-
more I think draw, and it's just I just can't pick it. I just can't pick draw, but the more I think about it,
I don't know, man. So those are our picks. Me and Pete pick Lightning. Cal and Nick T pick
Wow.
Revolver. What's the chat saying for the most part? I'm
Okay,
actually
so
really
I
curious.
started keeping track of what people were saying. Revolver was winning, but then it jumped to the bottom, so I lost my place. So I couldn't keep track anymore. But Revolver by a landslide.
By
from
a
what I got.
landslide?
Yeah, from what I counted,
I've
I
seen
had
a lot of lightnings
5,
too,
10,
but
15, 20, 25, 30,
definitely more
35,
You tallied
37.
it.
I had 37 Revolver and 9 Lightning, and then I lost my place.
Wow.
So I would assume
Wow.
Revolver probably was going to end up still winning.
Let
Yeah,
me,
that'd be a lot to catch up.
let
But
me
there are
look-
a lot of lightnings. I do
Let
have
me
to
look
say.
because I just posted a video on the episode summaries.
You should post a
today.
Twitter poll.
Well, I posted a poll in this video.
Okay.
Oh.
So let me see.
Let's see how that did.
Yeah, so I'm curious because I combined no result and draw, so you didn't have to separately pick them.
Colin
So-
said, "How can we get 4 summaries after a duel and still not know the result of the duel?"
That's-
Right?
that's
it's exactly
incredible.
what I was
That's
thinking
exactly
too.
So in the YouTube poll, which had votes, about 100 votes, what will be the result of Lightning versus Revolver? 15% said Lightning, 51% said Revolver, 33% said draw slash
That's a
no
high
result.
A lot
draw.
of people,
But even if you just look at Revolver, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
So it's half of the people are split. So
Right.
half of the people in the community,
Think it's
at least voted on that poll, think Revolver will win. The other half think another result.
Right.
a lot of
So
people who
it's so
said, I
tough.
noticed a couple people who said Lightning were Lightning / draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But their
Oh.
vote was split for the people who picked, a lot of people who picked Lightning. I didn't notice that for Revolver, but I noticed that for a few people who picked Lightning.
It's
It's tough. It's a tough.
Yeah,
It's
duel
so
to pick.
tough.
is.
It's so tough. But I am going to go with Lightning. I think Lightning will win. Just based on Revolver being the one, he doesn't need to win to have served his purpose in this duel.
Which I agree.
Regardless, I'm rooting for Revolver. I love Revolver.
I
I
do.
hate Lightning, which
Yeah.
you should.
You should. You're supposed to
I
hate
hate him
him.
for the right
Yeah.
reasons.
You're supposed to hate him.
I don't hate him because I think he's a bad. I hate him for
He's
the
a
right
great
reasons.
character,
Yeah.
and that's why we hate him. 'Cause
Absolutely.
We're supposed to.
So let's thank you everyone who participated in that.
We have some donations.
Okay, awesome. And then we're gonna read the donations. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna give our quick thoughts on ending 5.
Sure.
Because you've rewatched it a couple times. You've watched it. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear people in the comments. And yeah, so we're gonna get into that to conclude things.
So we have a donation from Odd Ice Vaughn,
Thank you again, Odd Eyes.
$5.
Too kind, man. Thank you so much.
I read somewhere that the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh always wanted to touch on mental issues and psychology. I think that's why people can relate to Yu-Gi-Oh.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I believe that. Kazuki Takahashi. I don't. I mean, I can't. I haven't heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Very, very smart, intelligent guy, and I think the show does touch on that to a degree.
Sure. I mean,
It's not.
Aoi
definitely
specifically.
did with
like,
Aoi,
a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And several characters. I
Well,
think it's
Soulburner too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's
You
not.
could even argue Blood Shepherd. To some extent.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is turmoil. Well, yeah, right. In that might only be applying at least for Takahashi to the original Yu-Gi-Oh because he doesn't work on them anymore. But Yu-Gi-Oh has kept those themes, I think,
Right. I
throughout the
think
shows.
at the very least, it would be in continuation of his vision.
Right, a character like Dennis in Arc 5 killed himself after he lost the duel because he couldn't live with the guilt anymore of betraying Yugioh. So I mean, they've done that. They've touched
great.
on those stuff.
Very Judas Iscariot kind of biblical. event
Yeah,
there.
no, it is. It is. That was a great scene. Yeah, but thank you, Odd Eyes, for the donation, and that's very interesting. I definitely do believe that.
We have another donation from Darky Scythe, $5.
Thank you, Dark.
What do you guys think of personal hygiene in Yu-Gi-Oh! Community Tournament? What will happen to Windy Earth Lightning? Will they be killed or captured?
So you guys don't know this, but Konami posted a blotter or a blog a couple days ago that said if you smell bad, they'll kick you out of tournaments from now on.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I have no
Showering is
but-
important.
Yeah. By the
people.
way, I have no issue with that at all. I actually was happy that they did
These are
something
close
like that.
quarters events. Like
Yeah, but honestly, like I never understood that because personally, I can't leave my house without showering.
Agreed.
Even
I
if I'm
agree.
even if
Neither
I'm
can
going to like just pick up food at a pizzeria and then bring it back home to eat.
I'm
Like
showering.
I'm showering.
Once I get out of bed, I'm
That's
saying
not
Yeah.
necessarily about shit. Like,
First thought.
wash your hands, brush your teeth.
Right. Even if I'm not,
Little
you can
things.
take what
Little
they call a
things.
European shower over in the States.
That is incredibly offensive to a lot of your audience.
Is
for
that
the
what it
record.
is? Is it? Well, anyway, look.
I also don't think that's what it's called.
Actually, it
It's
might
not
have-
called
it's-
that.
it's
It's
not
called
that.
something else.
But we're
What's
not
it
going to
called?
say what it
It's
is.
a-
I'm not gonna
Do you know what it's
It's
called?
an offensive thing to say to
Oh, is it?
anyone.
Well, I
so-
apologize. I didn't realize. That's me being tone deaf. I apologize.
Oh my
But
lord.
either way, just you know what? Just proper hygiene.
Yes,
that's
that's
important.
the moral of the story. Is
Yeah.
be clean.
Yeah, and so I have no issue with it.
And I get
Um,
that some people are blissfully ignorant of their,
I don't think people that have an odor most of the time know that they have an odor.
right. But
But if you shower every day and you use deodorant, you're not gonna have an odor.
I pride myself on keeping relatively clean. I shower. I like deodorant, and like but I always wear cologne, even
Me too.
just because I feel comfortable knowing for a fact that I like have a good scent around me.
Or you just
Right.
don't have a bad scent.
Actually, never mind.
So Nixie doesn't have a
Was she
scent.
about to diss
No.
you?
Other than
No,
my
I
feet.
wasn't about to diss him. No,
You guys are just me,
no.
Calibro.
Are you kidding? Or,
It's okay. It's funny.
I was gonna say no. Okay, I was gonna say that the real reason why he wears cologne is not so he smells like clean to get women, probably.
Oh, you know what?
who, me?
yes.
That's a good
Oh,
point.
well, it's an added bonus, hopefully.
Well, I mean, like, no. Well, let's
Hopefully.
be realistic. You guys have seen the ads for cologne. What's like the number one thing, like purpose for cologne in those ads?
To attract women.
Bingo.
To smell good.
No.
Oh.
Either way,
I don't watch ads.
we're getting off topic. Darky Scythe, I love it, man. I
Yes.
love the decision.
Oh, but
just
yes.
shower.
Yeah,
Be
just shower.
be hygienic.
And as far as I think the Ignis probably will.
I
Be
think
killed.
lightning and lightning will be killed off.
Lightning will be killed, but I'd like to think, and maybe
the other
Windy
five,
too.
yeah.
I don't think again, like we said,
It's
Windy's
gonna be just
irredeemable.
I left.
But I'd like to see Earth come back, God willing, after his horrific death, and Aqua,
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Flame Yeso. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Before I go through the latest donations, I just want to mention a smart idea that David Lewis mentioned.
Okay.
He said, "Should we start a bidding site for these matches, like sports betting?"
Oh man, you can make a ton of money.
Well, what I wanted to do for the next Yu-Gi-Oh, if there is one, is set up like a pick'em site, so people could sign up with their email, and before the episode airs, you would pick
Right.
who would win, and then we would keep standings and stuff, and it would be hopefully like hundreds of people in the
That'd be
community.
really
That would be
cool.
I think
really
that would be
cool.
a lot of fun. We'd all be competing against each other.
I'm down.
And
We
maybe
could
like
put
the
a big screen behind us.
That would be
kind of
great.
like when you go to like
Or even
the
you-
horse race.
yeah.
You know?
yeah, right. All I would need to do is have a TV HDMI from the laptop with the data up, and then that would be the screen.
They're set.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do something like that for you.
Good
guys,
idea,
Seven.
Dave.
Yeah.
like
A
that.
donation from Goosey Q.
Thank you, Goose.
$5.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Death Parade is a great anime.
Yeah.
Bakura and Merrick. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Merrick.
Best villains. Lightning
Agreed.
is so good at being a villain. Revolver will win and Bowman will take Lightning.
That's
I like
what's
that.
up.
I like that.
Mike Goosey.
Goosey, I disagree with you, man, but that's okay, man.
He
I
was
still love
point
you,
after
dude.
point after point, and I love it.
I said
Yeah.
I do agree with you about Death Parade. but
I haven't
love
watched
you, man.
Death Parade, but now I want to watch it. I agree. Bakura and Merrick are the best.
I agree with that
villains.
too. Well, I like Pegasus
I
more
think
than
I think
Bakura.
everything he
Really?
just said was right,
Everything was right.
including Revolver winning, which is the
Yeah, that's
Everything
gonna happen.
until Revolver winning. But Goosey, I still love you, man. Thank you for the donations. dude.
We had another $5 donation from Joseph Tedisco.
Thank you, Joseph.
Says, Dylan, in your recent review, you said Flame is your favorite Ignis. I'm just curious as to who is everyone else's favorite Ignis.
Thank you, Joseph. Good question.
Maybe I'll go first because I'll have the most unintelligent answer
Sure,
because
go.
I
Don't
haven't
say
watched
that.
in maybe
Come on.
15 episodes.
That's fine.
Come on.
Okay, wait. Can we go over who all of the Ignis are first?
Lightning, Windy, Earth, Aqua, I,
And
I'm gonna-
Flame.
and Flame.
I'm going to go with Aqua.
Okay, because she's a woman.
Because she's cute.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
She's cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
When you said that, I was thinking of the SNL skit. It's like, she's a woman who doesn't support other women.
Oh my god.
It's what's that name? Great pick, Jordan. Aqua's good. I like Aqua too.
It's tough. I think Pete would agree with me. I'm stuck, actually. I was going to say Flame because I think because his progression has been good. Like he started off, I loved him at first because he was always burning, pun intended, burning, soul burner. Like whenever he would say something, he would just diss him, and it was great. But then like you could see their bond really up until the end, you know, really grow, and I liked that too. So I always thought his attitude was really good.
I'm in agreement there. I also think Flame is my favorite, although I isn't far behind. Of course, because you know I is the
Demonetized.
comedic relief.
Yeah.
But I think I like Flame the best.
Yeah, flame for me. And what I love about the Ignis is they all have their like special quirks. Like Eye has instinct.
Right.
Yeah.
Flame has that indomitable spirit.
Yeah.
Aqua can tell the difference between truth and lies. We don't really know what Earth's
Oh,
is.
I-
And then Windy has the most powerful data storm. And Lightning seems to be the best duelist out of all of them.
I had never thought of it like
That's
that.
yeah.
I just in my mind it was just I is special because he has instinct.
But they all
I
have
never
their
They
quirks.
always have their
Yeah,
quirks.
which I like a lot. I think it gives them uniqueness. Earth, maybe he's just socially awkward. Maybe that's his quirk. He did keep saying it, but thank you for the donation and the question, man.
His quirk is that he gets brutally murdered.
that's messed up.
Yeah, it's really
That's-
wrong. I'm
that's
sorry.
Poor guy.
You're not coming on next week.
Were there a few more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but really quickly, I want to mention something Pete said. Cal pretending he doesn't know what cologne is for.
I love you, Pete.
That was amazing.
Okay, so let's go back up.
I think
So
it's only two more.
okay, so we
Like
have
Pete.
Yeah.
yeah, so we have as of right now we have 2 more.
Okay, thank you guys.
From Nicholas Horton, 5 pounds.
Thank you, Nick.
Ending 5 seemed like it was like an alternate universe. No mention of Link VRAINS. It confused me.
Agreed. We actually went into it in some detail in the video regarding the reaction, but I guess
And we're going to discuss ending 5
that more.
after the
So
next donation. So hold that, Nick. Thank you
Yeah,
for the
we'll address
donation.
that.
And ending 5 we're going to talk about right now after the next donation. Thank you so much, Nick.
And the most recent one was from Underdog Chris. Does
Thank you.
anyone else think opening 3 will debut in May?
I do.
I think it's
You might have
likely.
missed me talk my opening monologue. I basically said that I think that it's very likely mid-April, which is V-Jump, we could get some opening 3 news, some Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS Season 3 news, and I hope we do. It just seems like this arc is coming to an end. So, Underdog, thank you for the donation. I do agree with that. I think it's very possible.
I think it's possible as well.
So, yeah, let's thank you to everyone again, for everyone who donated.
There
Yeah,
is
one
another
more.
very quick donation.
Yes, thank you, guys. Thank you.
From eFlamer1.
Thank you, E.
How couldn't you love Earth? His skill is rock you.
I'm being harsh on Rock just because he died, but honestly, I find him the most sympathetic of the Ignis.
Yeah.
I think his death affected me the most.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think. Like the way it's like
I agree.
You know, I mean, obviously he got the best treatment in his death, but I think it was my favorite.
Yeah.
So I'm just being unnecessarily harsh. I think he's great.
No, I think he's awesome. Thank you for the donation, man. I really like him, and his death scene was, I thought, the most impactful death scene VRAINS has had so far.
Absolutely.
Flame and Soulburner came close, but
Yeah.
he was
But
great.
that like just watching him and like reflecting on his memories, I was like, oh,
Beautiful.
He's seeing the physical tear in his
Yeah.
eye. I was like, Jesus
fucked up.
Christ.
Yeah. Ugh, it was so good. So, ending 5. Let's discuss. Nicholas Horton just made an interesting comment about how he said it seemed like an alternate universe.
Yeah.
When me, you, and Pete watched, first reaction we had.
Absolutely.
And I think the people that
Me too.
didn't really like the ending, I think I think they might be
Trying to take
taking it too literally.
Agreed.
About how because someone wrote to me and said that don't watch ending 5 because I think it spoils how the arc's going to end. But I disagree.
100%.
I think this is what life could have been like, or life would be like if the Ignis were exterminated.
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
everything is from Ai's point of view. So maybe, sure, a lot of it is just panning screenshots and images.
Right.
So maybe there's reason to be critical there, even though the endings usually aren't crazy with
Right,
animation
no.
scenes.
There's
I-
maybe 3 or 4 animated,
In
scenes.
Glory, yeah.
I was gonna say because if you count Robopi, I and the putting down of the dual disc.
Oh, right.
But
in that
in that one, yeah. But I'm saying
The
there's nothing wrong with
message
story.
behind it was amazing. I thought it was
Yeah.
one of the best messages any of the endings in Yu-Gi-Oh! I've had maybe in the last 5 years. I'd
Right.
say that.
I think
loved it.
I
Loved the
think my message, like my
Right,
my
what did you
reaction
think?
to
What did
it,
you think?
yeah, my takeaway from it was I agreed that it was kind of, it seemed like it was an alternate reality almost, but I also think it was kind of showing not the end of like the series, but the end of like Link VRAINS. Like I think it's going to be a lot of like in real life scenario in the last season, where I don't know if they're necessarily going to duel in real life, but I think there's going to be a lot more action and plot thickening like in like not in the VRAINS.
I'd love that.
And I think that like it kind of almost symbolizes that because like if you look at the end, there's like no really VRAINS piece to it.
No, not
and
at all.
putting down the dual disc is almost like
It's a memory.
It's symbolic to like that's what we did to get out of there, and then it got destroyed. Like they ended it.
You know, a few people I think had commented that, and I think you just explained it wonderfully. I didn't even get that vibe when I watched it, even though I did notice that there was no Link VRAINS, which I thought was weird. That's why I thought it was like an Unreal universe.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like that it's kind of symbolizing that like the VRAINS is over, like it's in the past.
Right.
Again,
Which-
I don't think this is real, though.
I don't think it's real either. I think it does symbolize that the VRAINS is in the past because obviously the picture, like if you take the picture literally, where it's like this had happened,
it's him putting down the dual disc
Right,
and like
in fact-
hanging up the
Yeah.
coat almost.
exactly. But
Like
I
Go
think
and opening too.
I still think it's all what if? What if the Ignis no
Yeah.
longer exists and we can pick up the pieces and move on?
And that's why I love it, because the song, a few people said the song doesn't really fit with the images because the images are happy and the song is kind of like not happy. But the show is
I
not
disagree.
happy. But I honestly think that I think it's more tragic.
It is
the-
more
the
tragic.
ending.
Well,
I don't
because-
think it's.
I
I don't
think
get
it-
a happy vibe from
for
it.
anyone who watched the video or didn't even. Well, the way I saw it was that the way the song fits is because this is all eyes. From I's perspective, the way the song fits together with that is him coming to terms with that. In order to see this perfect, happy place that is hypothetical, he needs to die. He needs to go away. The Ignis need to be no more, so that X can happen.
Right.
Yep. I 100% agree.
Right. If it's from a future perspective, if it's from a present or past perspective, it's him looking and saying,
Hey,
"Well,
what if I
this
didn't
is
exist?"
what it would be like if I wasn't around."
Exactly.
Yeah. And so for those reasons, I think it fits the tone of the arc. I think it's tragic. I really enjoy.
That's
the
also
ending.
why I think there could be a dark opening.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
can
I
see
think
that.
like with the way it ends, it's like this is what it could be, but I think the start is going to be this is what it is, and it's going to be a different reality altogether. Which I think would be a very good fit if they.
Oh,
did
I
it that
agree.
way.
I agree. I think the opening should be a little ominous. That's what I wanted the Arc 5 opening 5 and 6 to be. And opening 5 and 6, both of them kind of started out kind of grim, especially opening 5. And then halfway through, Yugioh's rollerblading on the city, and it's like, all right, you lost me a little bit. But even though opening 5 is an amazing song for Arc 5, but yeah, you don't need these conflicting tones, and I don't think ending 5 is a conflicting tone at all with the story. I think
absolutely
it's
not.
tragic. I don't think it's happy at all, and I think it's actually very saddening to know, well, this is what it could have been, but the characters we all know and love, they're not in these ideal situations because of I and because of the Ignis. That's what separates them.
Of course.
That's what got them all into this. And as Pete said, Link VRAINS used to be a place where you'd go and have fun and hang out
Right, with
and
all the
duel.
charisma duels, like it was enjoyable.
It's not a thing anymore.
No.
Link
But
VRAINS
look, everyone's
Link
trapped.
VRAINS is a battleground
Right,
24/7 now.
It's a battleground and it's a prison for everyone that's stuck in there watching the events.
Yeah, so I think it's very symbolic, but
Absolutely.
yeah. So I guess we can. It's already 4:17. Jeez,
Wow.
we talked for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like that was an enjoyable.
It
That was-
went,
it went
pretty
really
fast,
fast. That went
too.
really
fast,
Yeah.
yeah.
We went like off topic, back on, back
yeah,
off.
yeah,
so
yeah.
it
But
was-
that's
it was
good.
good.
That's
yeah.
good.
That's the way these are
like,
supposed to be.
yeah, absolutely.
Conversational,
Absolutely. Guess we'll take one question from. We didn't even check email. I apologize to anyone who sent an email.
I didn't check email.
Yeah, we will check them for next week. I apologize for that. We'll take one question from the chat.
All right, so I'll ask this one because it's right here at the
Throat's
bottom.
killing me.
From it's a lot of talking.
Too much speaking.
Yeah.
No water.
From Dennis Dimitrov.
Yep.
Do you think if Playmaker loses against Bowman, he will change his deck to Dark to attribute Cyberse monsters? For a name for the archetype, I choose Firewall.
Yeah. So I mean, Jaden kind of did that when he lost. Or when he
Oh.
became the Supreme King in Season 3, where he was using Dark Heroes.
Right.
So I imagine, thank you for the question, Dennis. I imagine that's where the inspiration from that question probably comes. Well, I don't think he's going to lose, but if he loses, no, I don't think he would change his deck. I don't think he would change his deck.
No. He seems like someone who's pretty set in his
Cyberse ways, yeah.
I don't think anything is gonna.
If anything,
maybe not
maybe
anything, but a loss like this, I don't think would change that.
Maybe a monster, like a new monster,
Yeah, that could.
like a
That's
new dark
possible.
Yeah.
attribute monster.
Yeah, a dark
But-
firewall, like a pitch black firewall.
Yeah.
That could be
dragon.
cool.
That'd
But
be
I
sick.
think
That'd
to
be
change
sick.
his entire
Yeah.
play style and deck would be.
Yeah, I don't think
unnecessary.
he'll do it. That's because it happened with Judai because he literally became evil because he was
Right.
this alternate person. I don't think Playmaker has that third persona
Right.
that's dwelling within him or sleeping dormant
Exactly.
within him. So it probably wouldn't happen with him. But you never know. It's an interesting proposal.
Sure.
Because I don't know a lot about it. So is it hard for a player to just change their deck?
They never really go over deck building, so it wouldn't be hard realistically.
But it would affect
in
the
fact,
real world.
Yeah, one of the oh my god, one of the dumbest things. There was this character named Yuri in Arc 5.
Yeah.
And he was dueling Asuka, Alexis Rhodes from GX, because a version of her was in Arc 5. It wasn't the same version though.
Weird.
And so he was dueling her, and instead of using his Predaplant deck, that was his archetype that we all wanted to see because it had been a while since he had dueled one-on-one. Actually, besides the dueling the GX students, I don't think he had dueled ever one-on-one on screen for like a full duel, unless you count the Yugioh one. So we wanted to see his cards and his deck and his archetype.
Right.
And literally he goes, you know what? I'm going to actually use this Academy deck. And it was Ancient Gears, like the one that Kronos would use.
Right.
So he used Ancient Gears. Literally, like an Ancient Gear structure deck had come out in the actual card game.
Right.
And so clearly he was just promoting that. And he uses this
Jesus.
deck that's not even his, that he only used once. He beats Asuka, of course. He beats her with a deck that it
wasn't even his.
Yeah, a trainee deck. And it was like the most blatant and obvious promoting of like the cards.
Which is why exactly
that
why
was-
I wouldn't. I couldn't see them just switching, not unnaturally, but like this for Playmaker because he has his deck.
Yeah, I think it's
exists.
pretty set in stone.
Yeah, it's set in stone.
Then again, we thought Yuri's was, and they do something like that.
Yeah, but like there's no new deck that's just been released that isn't assigned to a character.
Right, not yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they just put out like some unrelated deck and be like, oh, that's weird, and then all of a sudden we see Playmakers like, I'm gonna try this out.
Yeah, right. All right.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm gonna try the revolver structure deck. All right, let's not do this.
There are 2 comments I want to go over.
All right, and then we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, so the one is from So Prism. And since Jordan and Cal are so good at UK accents, will they please give a try to a French accent?
Wow, this is gonna be
Um,
awful.
If you watch, if you watch next week or like in 2 weeks, I'm going to look into French accents so I can come back a little more prepared.
Let him
Okay.
train a little.
Yeah, I have no idea how to do a French
I know.
accent.
I
Bonjour.
can only
I
say,
knew you were gonna
Yeah,
attempt it.
I can only say
Salut.
from like things that
Bonjour.
like from like movies I've seen, but I
Bonjour.
actually kind of want to try it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look a little into it. And
Okay.
then,
Like a
Cool.
French
so if you
act-
watch like the next few weeks, like be on the lookout.
Cool,
For
next
that
few
one.
weeks.
Yeah, maybe like because like you just did, I would have been like
Bonjour.
bonjour, comment allez-vous? Like that's the only thing I
That
would
was
know.
for a second. I
wasn't
thought
bad.
we
That
were in
wasn't bad,
Paris.
yeah.
I think I
Yeah,
kind
for
of
a
feel
second.
like not an offense to your accent, but I feel like it sounds like you're an American speaking
Right.
French.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, that's
exactly.
why because
That's why it's
accent.
tough.
I'm actually gonna give a try of French speaking English.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's
what
what
I
I'm
would wanna try,
gonna look into. So
So we'll
'cause
see.
I'm curious to.
So tune in next time for
French
Cal and Jordan.
French accents are
French
great.
accents.
Yeah. Grout on the expander of the landmass said, please speak Japanese as well. Haha.
I feel like
That'd be.
I
I don't think
that
we
would
can do
border
that. I don't think we
yeah,
can do that.
I can't even try.
Well, I can speak a little Swedish, so maybe next time I'll come on and just say a few sentences in Swedish.
Swedish
And
meatballs.
that'll.
What
That's a song in Swedish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
About frogs.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
yeah.
Well,
I don't
what-
know. Do you have a Swedish audience?
Frozen was in Sweden, right?
Norway.
Norway.
Yeah, so like almost the same thing.
I
Actually,
don't.
kinda
I'm sure
close.
I have a few people from Sweden. The Nordic
you're from
countries.
Sweden,
Check your
comment.
demographics.
The Nordic countries are great, man.
They are.
Yeah, I
beautiful
would love to
women.
go to Sweden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful people.
Yeah, you keep saying that. Is there?
Well, I said beautiful women, and then I realized that's probably gonna sound creepy, so I changed it to people. But
They are beautiful people.
They are beautiful people.
They are a beautiful people.
and they're the happiest people in the world. Nordic countries. That's proven.
Yeah, Denmark.
Yes.
Denmark.
they
I don't
say.
understand how it's so cold up there, man.
They just but there's nothing to worry
They're
about.
also used to it though.
They are used. They've
That's
lived
true.
Yeah, I live
Yeah.
in Jersey. I'm still not used to.
Yeah,
this
I'm
cold.
not used to the cold we get in the winter. We get it every year.
But it also gets hot here. That's why we
Yeah.
don't have like consistent weather,
why I'm
so we
moving to
get
Texas.
unhappy with anything different. So we have another comment from Red Eye. It's just
Our
like a
homie.
funny. It's just like a funny question.
Our guy.
Which VRAINS character would you share a bland spaghetti dinner with?
I love
So I would assume it would. I assume we're just talking just a bowl of plain spaghetti.
no
I would
butter,
assume
no
there's
cheese,
there's no
sauce,
cheese, no
nothing.
sauce, nothing.
That's how I eat my
It's
spaghetti.
just boiled spaghetti.
Yeah, that's
Excuse
how I
me?
eat it.
You're
That's how I eat
kidding.
my spaghetti.
Okay, so
Nothing
then
with
who
it.
would you have
Nothing
your
with it.
bland
What kind of
spaghetti dinner with?
sociopath are you?
I'd have my bland spaghetti. What'd you just say?
Sorry.
I'd have my bland spaghetti with probably Emma. I think Emma would be fascinating to have a conversation with.
Pick her brain a little bit.
Well, she'd pick my brain.
True.
I'd try to pick her brain.
But she wouldn't let you in.
Yeah, she wouldn't let me in.
I feel
think
like
it'd be fascinating.
that's a good answer. I feel like she would hate bland spaghetti. I feel like she would definitely. She wouldn't like keep it to herself.
Actually, yeah, you're right. She would
let you know she hated that spaghetti.
No, she would laugh at me for being poor and then walk out of the restaurant. That's what she did to Akira. So you're right. She's a B. I'm not gonna.
Wow.
Oh, she is. I'm gonna bring Owie. She would like bland spaghetti.
Yeah, and if she didn't like it, she wouldn't make you feel bad about it.
No,
she
she
might
would
not even
just
say
eat it.
anything
Of
about
course,
it.
Dylan picking all the women in the show.
I knew someone was gonna say.
Well, I
that.
have to. You
Yeah,
would have said it to me.
Well, who are you gonna pick?
I was gonna pick
pick
Kusanagi, but he
Hayami.
would just want a hot dog. So
Yeah, you can't.
I
pick
don't think
Kusanagi.
that one would work out.
There was a comment. I wasn't laughing at what he said. I was laughing at a comment.
Oh wow, Jesus!
And I'm the one that's mean.
Sorry.
We'll address it in a second.
Yeah.
So Colin Cleaves says,
Thank you, Pollard.
"Somebody
Colin.
touch my
Colin.
bland spaghetti."
That was nice.
Who are you
Classic.
bringing?
Oh man, that's.
I would.
I just want to take someone who's not going to insult me about it.
I would know. I would have it with Playmaker or Yusaku because it'd be a bland dinner. He's a very bland person.
Yeah.
It would just fit the scene very
There's a
well.
lot of bland.
Yeah, I don't think.
And that means I would come with us, so we'd have a great time.
Oh God.
Well, I think.
Can I just choose I feel like
Yeah, you can choose I.
Oh,
just
then I would choose I too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it depends. How much spaghetti are we eating? Because I feel like this could be kind of like the chair question. You know, for the chair question, you pick the lightest character.
That's not what he did.
So for this, do you pick the person who you think can eat the most spaghetti?
Naoki.
I don't think it has to do with the amount.
Well,
Actually,
then
Naoki would
I'd
be-
bring Go because he's been starved for like months.
Go wouldn't need anymore. He just wants to duel in that
Yeah.
simulation.
He's like, just throws the bowl and is like, let's duel.
Where's Playmaker?
It's like, I was going to eat that.
Oh my God.
I like, when he said a bowl of bland spaghetti, I had pictured literally a pound of just
Yeah. a giant bowl.
Such a
in the middle.
gross way to describe.
like almost like spaghetti that's not even warm anymore. That's like
Oh,
it's
okay. No, that's too far. Too far. Ugh.
The Italian in me is crying right now.
A bowl of room temperature.
Oh,
spaghetti.
That is disgusting.
I don't know how to
AZN.
Asian moonlight.
Asian.
How about eating spaghetti with the frog and pigeon?
Oh,
That could be fun.
that'd be fun.
Honestly, I like that.
I like that.
well,
that'd be fun.
and so bland spaghetti. Is there hot dog in the spaghetti?
No, it's
no,
spaghetti.
it's spaghetti.
It's bland.
I mean, I would
It's not a
try it.
bland hot dog. Although I eat hot dogs without any condiments on them.
Yeah, he's
That's
not,
just
he's
as
not
bad.
coming back
That's
on.
just as bad.
This is the last. So Cal has left the podcast.
Cal has left the chat.
I
Well,
have at least a 1 week
great,
ban.
great question to end on, Red
Wow,
Eyes.
that was a good. That was clever.
It's probably gonna wrap things up here for us, right?
I think so.
I
Cool.
think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great question to end on. And thank you to everyone who donated via Super Chat. I cannot tell you how much it just breathes life into me and the channel. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the VRAINS, episode 10. Forgotten Simulation.
Oh wow, dude.
Oh my God, send him.
What about the simulation has been
Walk
forgotten?
up the stairs.
This isn't even on purpose. I genuinely never remember the titles.
But
of
you
our
got it
events.
the 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, failed simulation. Thank you guys so much for watching. 7 dual power boxes here. 2 of them will be won
a lot of
by
power.
1 of them will be won by 2 lucky winners. The raffle will be up tomorrow night. I'm going to live stream myself tomorrow night opening 4 of these, and 1 will be given away to patrons. Or the 6 packs will be given away to 6 patrons. A special thank you to my platinum tier patrons: Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, Omni Lord, Samuel Stark, Thomas Adderley, Horace Maye, and Amber Crystal, and to my diamond tier patrons Bouldergeist and Jesse Wood, and to my Egyptian god tier patrons Syn Cloud and Chris Swan. Still need to update it for the month of April, so it will be updated by tomorrow. I do promise that. Cal, Nick T, Jordan, thank you all so much for coming on again. Of
course.
as
It's
per
always a great
usual.
time, of course.
Thank you guys.
And I see Cameron commenting about the emails. We forgot the emails. This
Yeah,
week.
I'm
Dylan
sorry,
will be on
Cameron.
top of it next week.
Yes, and we will do your email for next podcast. I do apologize for that. Send in your email questions. Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much. You okay? Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Really do appreciate it. Next week, we most likely will have Legendary Duels, the man who makes my review thumbnails. on to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, and we will have, so we're going to get some thumbnail tips
You're
from him,
promising
hopefully.
now. Is he actually coming for
Yeah,
sure?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. And we will have Jesse Wood, who's going to be here for Brooklyn, the tournament in Brooklyn, and he is a great guy and watches the show and plays competitively, a very intelligent card game player, so we will pick his brain about how the card game is doing as well. So
Over some bland spaghetti.
over some bland spaghetti. It will be a loaded week next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you
See you guys
guys.
Thank you,
later.
everyone.